Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, what's something you hated as a kid but love as an adult? Also, another streaming service is raising prices. All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from RadioU. Getting started with this, I just found the list of the top 10 deadliest animals in the world for humans. And the results, let's just say, fairly surprising. Now, coming in at number one isn't necessarily a shock, and that's mosquitoes, killing 725,000 people a year. But when you consider that's through the spread of disease, that makes a lot of sense. It's horrible. It's hopefully preventable one day. But mosquitoes take the top spot. Number two, this is sad, humans at number two. And that's only including intentional, like homicides. 400,000 people are killed by other people every single year. But here's where it gets crazy. Number three. Snakes. 138,000 people every year get killed by snakes. I did the quick math on that. That means that over 300, almost 400 people a day die due to snake bites. I thought that was actually incomprehensible. It's hard to fathom. Now, I was looking it up. I did a little more research on it. Apparently, about 50% of the snake deaths occur in India, where there's much more people, and I guess snakes too. But it's still unbelievable to think that snakes come in so high on the list. I guess if you have a fear of snakes, now you can finally feel justified because it actually makes a whole lot of sense. Some of the other stuff on the list, dogs, 59,000 people get killed every year by dogs, but they say that's also really through the spread of disease, not the dogs themselves. Assassin bugs, I don't even know what they are next, but now we're getting to numbers that are way lower, 10,000. Scorpions, then crocodiles, elephants, hippos, and lions round out the top 10. But who would have guessed that snakes kill over 100,000 people every year? We are doing useless knowledge. Today's useless knowledge, all about eggs, since today is National Egg Day. The question is, which animal lays the largest eggs? And almost universally, I mean, just dozens of people chiming in, guessing ostrich. Yeah, a lot of people really thought they nailed this one today. It'd be way too obvious. You think I'd ask this question if it was ostrich? It's too obvious. Some people did. They tried to overthink it a little bit. Did emu, but that is also incorrect. But I'll give at least a couple people credit that they know that the creature that lays the largest eggs on Earth is the whale shark. Well done. If you got it correct, the whale shark has laid an egg. It's been measured to be about a foot long and 6 inches wide, basically. That is impressive that whale sharks are able to accomplish that. Do you care also that the smallest bird egg is laid by the bee hummingbird, and it is just 0.275 inches long? Quite a vast difference there. And speaking of eggs, do you care that the date stamped on your egg carton isn't an expiration date, but a guide to when the eggs are at their peak quality? Eggs are generally safe to eat 3 to 4 weeks after the date on the carton. And to check if your eggs are still fresh, since the date is meaningless, you can try the water method, which is place the eggs in a bowl of water. Fresh eggs will sink. Older ones will float. So that actually could, I shouldn't have said that because that could actually be useful knowledge. I'll tell you, my ideal way to eat eggs is any way except for hard boiled. That's disgusting. We've all been told for so long that you're not supposed to look at your phone or watch TV before bed, right? The blue light, it affects your circadian rhythm, stuff like that. It makes it harder for you to fall asleep. Well, turns out new research shows that might not actually be true. A new study that was just published says that blue light sensitivity and digital stimulation varies from person to person. In other words, it's possible that looking at your phone for you specifically could be making it harder for you to fall asleep. It's also possible that the advice that's been given all this time is like, why don't you read a book instead? Actually could be more stimulating and make it harder for you to fall asleep depending on who you are. It really depends person to person. And so the only way to know is to actually get yourself tested. And who's going to do that? Instead, I like to think that if it depends on person to person, that if we've all been looking at our phones for so long, maybe those of us who do look at our phones and watch TV right up until it's time to turn out the lights, maybe we built up a tolerance. It's time for our Monday tradition, the box office breakdown, looking at what made money and what didn't in theaters over the weekend. I'll tell you, there was a lot of things that didn't make money at the box office this weekend. It was bad. How bad? There was tumbleweeds, it sounds like, at the movie theaters, is how bad it was. No, seriously, it was so bad that the Garfield movie was number one in North America. That's $14 million. Good enough to get Garfield to number one. Number two on the list was If, the new Imaginary Friends movie from John Krasinski, which I actually went and saw this week. And I will tell you that the reviews that make it feel like it's a very meh movie are accurate. It was never as funny as I wanted it to be. It wasn't like poignant. It wasn't like a Pixar movie where it like really tugged at your heartstrings all that much. Ryan Reynolds, good in the movie. I don't always actually love Ryan Reynolds, even though he is one of my fellow Canadians. But in this movie, he actually does a pretty good job. Furiosa came in at number 3, the Mad Max saga, making another $10 million. I'll tell you, that has dropped way off in its second week. Really disappointing, it looks like. And what I've heard about that, and I'm still interested to go see it, but it really just makes you want to watch Mad Max Fury Road, which I actually do. I kind of feel like I'd rather just watch that than go pay to watch Furiosa. Number 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Number 5, The Fall Guy in this week's box office. This is how bad the box office was. The number 1 movie that was actually a new release, its first week in theaters, came in at number 7. Something called Haikyuu the Dumpster Battle. Sounds great. Made $3 million. What did you see this week? Anything good? Anything bad? Let me know at 8772 RadioU. I didn't just only watch If, though. I also, speaking of movies that tug at the heartstrings a little bit, more than If did, that's Inside Out I watched because, the second one's coming out. I saw the trailer for Inside Out 2 when I went to see If, and I was like, I got to watch the first one again. And it holds up. Bing Bong. Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. Bing Bong sacrifices himself in the movie, of course. I would sacrifice myself for Bing Bong. Love Bing Bong in Inside Out. I want to talk about this. The NHL Stanley Cup Finals have been decided. Who's going to be playing? It's going to be the Florida Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers. First of all, here's something to think about with the NHL. Not only could I feel the average American not name all 30 teams, or 32 teams actually, in the NHL. They probably couldn't name very many, but I can give you the Edmonton Oilers as a team, and you still couldn't find on a map of North America where Edmonton is actually, feels like that blows my mind for some reason. But the other thing that blows my mind is that the Stanley Cup Finals do not start until this Saturday, even though the matchups have already been determined as of last night. I understand why the NBA had so much space between their conference finals and their finals, because the conference finals ended so quick. Neither one went more than 5 games. The NHL, we got a couple of 6-game series, and for some reason, we still have a week of off time scheduled in. Don't like that. I want to keep the momentum going and wrap this thing up. As far as picks go, I'm going with the Panthers. You might think Canadian, cheering for the Edmonton Oilers. No, I left Canada for a reason. One of those reasons is the Oilers. I don't like them. They are the Celtics of the NHL to me, where it's a couple of stars that are a little overrated and don't seem to be able to get it done in crunch time in the past. So I don't think here in the finals they're going to be able to either. Give me the Florida Panthers. They were close last year. This year, they're going to wrap it up. We are preparing for a food fight here. NayNay is with me. NayNay, you have no idea what this is that I put in front of you.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like some sort of fizzy little Coke. And as always, you never tell me what we have when we go on here. So I'm just going to sit back and just let the ride enjoy itself.
There's no indicating anything about it. It's you're from Texas. Do you call it pop or soda?
We call everything Coke down south. Actually, everything is Coke.
I've never been to Texas, but that's actually pretty much the way I do it too. Except Sprite is not Coke.
Sprite, Coke. Coke, Coke. Pepsi, Coke.
Yeah.
Starry, Coke. Pepper, Coke. Everything's Coke.
I will tell you that before we try this, I may have found something here that I am less likely to enjoy than even you.
Really?
Yeah.
How bad could this be?
I don't know. Give it a smell test. See if you can decipher what it might be.
It smells like Dr. Pepper.
I hate it.
It smells like Dr. Pepper. Is it Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, it's Dr. Pepper.
Yes, I knew it. See, listen, Dr. Pepper's also a huge thing down south.
Yeah, right.
Fun fact, I did not like Dr. Pepper until I had moved up to Ohio because I went to a summer camp, and at the little drink stations they have inside the cafeteria at summer camp, the only thing they had was water and Dr. Pepper. So I was kind of forced to like it at that point. But now
I guess so.
I can say I enjoy it.
Well, this is Dr. Pepper, but with a special additive. Then 23 flavors in Dr. Pepper aren't enough. There's something else in here. And I don't think I will like it, but I'll give it a shot.
I was about to say, should I ask what it is before I drink it, or should I just drink it?
No, you should just drink it.
Okay. All right.
And you definitely get this flavor, and I do not like. This is one of the worst food fights I've ever done. I hate it.
Is it vanilla? Wait,
no.
It's not like it's.
That's already a thing.
Vanilla extract. That's what it kind of tastes like.
You get vanilla.
Vanilla extract.
I like vanilla. This is not vanilla to me.
It smells like vanilla extract. Like I feel like I'm about to go bake a cake or something.
All right, give it a shot.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You like it more than me. I would never drink. I'm gonna.
It's fine.
It's do you know what the flavor is now?
I still have no idea. I still want to say vanilla extract.
It is creamy coconut.
Coconut. I hate coconut.
You do? I don't like coconut either. So, but that's if you did. This is why we do it blind, because you actually gave it a fair shot, and you said it wasn't that bad.
I'm mad that I gave coconut a shot at all.
I hate it. I hate coconut. I don't like Dr. Pepper. So this is a combo that had me. I didn't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, but it's for the show.
I've always wanted to go to like a deserted island and like shake a palm tree, have a coconut fall and open it up to touch the little white stuff inside. Like I've always wanted to do that, but I kind of don't want to get past the whole stranded on an island thing.
I mean, there's coconuts that aren't in desert islands, so.
I guess I could just go to a grocery store.
Yeah. To me, the only thing coconuts are good for is hand soap. That's fine. The smell.
Ugh, I don't even like the smell, man. I knew something was fishy there.
Something I've been thinking about lately is how your life can be ruined so quickly. You can make a bad decision so quickly and easily. I mean, it's really as simple as, oh, I want to get blackout drunk tonight and drive. Well, all you have to do is go to the liquor store and have a car. That's about all you need to do. Oh, I want to throw all of my life savings on one ill-advised sports bet. There's not a whole heck of a lot of hoops you have to jump through to do that. I want to cheat on my partner. It's well, for some it might be harder than others, but all it takes is one choice at one time that can totally alter the course of your life in a negative way. But what's the flip side of that is that the things that improve your life, so many of them take time. How many things can you think that instantly improve your life to the extent that those things I just mentioned can instantly mess up your life? It's a short list of things that can change your life for the positive very quickly. It sucks. It's not fair, actually. But like your parents have said, life isn't fair. But that doesn't mean it's not impossible to recover. Sometimes the unfairness of life is to recover, to overcome negative choices that you've made or that only took a moment, or even negative choices that other people made that affected you, can take so long, so much effort, so much money that it just feels overwhelming. But there is good news that it doesn't have to be impossible. There is a road to recovery, and it starts with Jesus. God is ready to come alongside with you and get you on that path to the help you need, to overcoming the bad decisions that you or others may have made that have got you in a spot that you wish you weren't in. Jesus is ready to help you out with that. It's not going to make it completely easy, but it is going to make it easier, especially having that support system. And on top of all of that, if you feel like, well, actually, you know what, Hudson, you're right. I've avoided all of those bad decisions. Good on me. But that doesn't mean that something bad can't happen to you. And you know what they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So it's never a bad idea to say, hey, God, I just want to make sure you help me stay on the right path. Help me keep going in the right direction. no matter where you are in life, Jesus will always be there and always be able to make things a little better. If you want to know more, check out RadioU.com/free gift. The big sports story over the weekend was actually the WNBA. Caitlin Clark still making headlines, although she was really on the receiving end of this one. If you didn't see, Kennedy Carter, she's a player for the Chicago Sky, basically gave Caitlin Clark a cheap shot hip check that knocked her to the ground on Saturday. And since then, you might expect many people would be, apologize after the incident. Kennedy Carter has not backed down whatsoever. It was clearly a cheap shot, and she is still openly hating on Caitlin Clark. And I'm going to say this. I actually like it. Well, I don't like the cheap shot per se. That's not what I like. But what I do like is seeing this kind of emotion in sports, because what's the worst thing as a sports fan when you see players on TV and you feel like you care more than they do? You're at home about ready to throw your remote into the TV when, a referee makes a bad call. And meanwhile, the players on your team are just yucking it up because it's just a job to them. It's not as emotional. I like that the players in the WNBA, maybe it's because of Caitlin Clark at this point, are so emotionally invested that they care at least as much as you do as a fan. I love that. You're going through a single guy summer. I've got some tips for you. This is going to help out on your first dates. I thought this was really interesting how Tinder did this. They asked men and women a bunch of things like, do you consider this important to do on a first date? And then they showed the gap so that you can see which things are more important to women than men. In other words, guys, stuff you may not think of because it's not as important to you, but stuff you should be doing to impress the ladies, or at least the lady that you go on a date with. The number one thing you can do is make sure she gets home safely. 59% of women found it to be very chivalrous if you actually walk them up to their door or whatever, whatever it is, until she says, okay, you're good to go. Stick around, but don't be clingy, in a safe way. Also, put your phone away during one-on-one time. I don't know why guys wouldn't think of this, but of course, if you're going on a date, you want to be screen-free. The ladies seem to have this figured out. Apparently, guys, not as much. Only 34% of men thought that was important. And finally, give sincere compliments. I feel like that's obvious. Who doesn't want to hear something nice about them, especially when it really comes from the heart? But seriously, it seems like you can't compliment enough. There you go. Those are your tips, your keys to success so your first date will go well. Yesterday, Spotify announced that it is raising prices for basically all subscribers. If you have an individual plan with Spotify, premium is going to go up $1 per month to $11.99. If you have a duo plan, that's going up by $2 a month to $16.99. And the family plan is going up $3 per month to $19.99. And if you're thinking, didn't Spotify just raise prices? They did. It was almost exactly a year ago that they raised prices, which, to be fair, was the first time they've raised prices in 12 years. But now they've done it twice in a year span. Feels like a lot, especially when you consider, at least to me, it's not like there's more music on Spotify. It's not like they've added new things. They just always have all the music. But here's what's crazy. And I want to know if I'm the weird one or if this is other people's experience too. I am less likely to leave Spotify than any other streaming service. Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, whatever. Those I could all see myself ditching. Spotify, it's so hard to imagine. And here's why. You're thinking like, what? Like Apple Music, YouTube, whatever. They've got all the same music Spotify does. They do. But what they don't have is my playlists. I've made so many playlists on Spotify that I actually use and go back to, and to recreate that on YouTube, or which would be my most likely other option, would be so time consuming that I just can't ever see myself leaving Spotify. But maybe I need to go back to the free plan. I don't even know what that looks like at this point. I've been paying so long. But am I the weird one, or are you stuck with Spotify as well, no matter pretty much how much they raise the prices? It's always a treat when Nikki wakes up early to join us here on the show. Good morning, Nikki.
Well, I appreciate when you bring the best of the best to make me wake up. Like, these stories are the only thing I'll get up for.
Yes, I just sent this to Nikki. I thought she could really use this. I feel like I could use this. This is for everybody. Well, it's for everybody.
Are you just like, oh, it's a lotion. Nikki's dry. Let's send it to her. Why do you think that?
Well, who among us couldn't improve our skincare routines is all I'm trying to say. And that includes
That's
you. I know you
true.
care about your skin a lot. And the latest trend in skincare is to use cow udder cream on your face as your night cream.
As the night cream. So it's a company that I don't know, because I'm not a farmer, but apparently on the udders of like cows, you're supposed to put a balm around them.
Yeah, well, they can get real chapped.
I guess.
I know this from all the cows I've milked.
That's true. You are more familiar. But it's a company that's celebrating its 125th anniversary. So this was a cream, used a long, long time ago. And now people are using it where it used to be just for veterinarian use only.
Yeah. First of all, I love the name Bag Bomb. It's amazing. And I would
We're
love...
going to skip past that, aren't we? Our mature selves will skip past that.
Yeah. Well, I would love if, somebody happens to notice if you start using this and they ask you like, wow, your face has looked really like you've been glowing recently.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
What's your secret?
It's I'm Bag Bomb. I've been using Bag Bomb on my face. It's actually been doing really great.
Well, it's not far off. Like I used to use a lot this shampoo and conditioner, mane tail stuff, and that was for horses, like absolutely for horses, but then became really popular for humans to use. So if I did that and this, why not? Just the whole farm.
Yeah, man. Why do animals get all the good stuff? Why are they keeping it from us humans?
I think all the stuff we use has so many additives or, perfumes or things.
Stuff that they aren't allowed to put in the animal stuff.
Exactly. And it comes back. We get a swing of like what's popular. It's like, oh, I want to go back to the farm or more organic stuff, local stuff. And you could have the udder cream to put on your face at night.
Yes. I also like to think about the person in the company. They've probably been pitching this idea for years. It's like, guys, what if we start marketing this to humans? What if we try to get the actual people to start using this for their skincare routine? And they've been shouted down so many times. That's a ridiculous idea. This is for cows and cows alone. And finally, they've been taken seriously. And look where it's got them. It's got them pretty far.
Well, you could utterly fall in love with a new night cream if you would like to use this.
We couldn't go through the whole thing without that, huh?
Why not? Come on, that's perfect.
It is perfect. I think it's time that we open up the Hudson Show hotline.
877-2-RADIO-U.
Because I got a question for you. What is something you hated as a child, but now that you've grown, you actually love? You've come full circle on it. Stuff you hated as a kid, and now you love it. 877-2-RADIO-U. I'll give you a good example to lead off. Love might be a strong word, but documentaries. Definitely as a child, I don't think documentaries were school. But now as an adult, it's not like I like every documentary ever, but there are some documentaries that I am so in on that I never would have ever given the time of day as a child. 877-2-RADIO-U. What is something you hated as a child, but love as an adult? Let me know. Dylan chiming in with pineapples and Hawaiian pizza specifically. Hated as a child, now as an adult is in on both. Maybe I'm still a child because I can't get in on either of those. Similarly, Philip, who said broccoli. Yeah, still, for me, I'm still a picky eater. It's funny, I do have foods like that, but they're much less healthy. For example, sour cream. Scared of that as a child. I don't even know if I really hated it as much as I didn't give it a chance. Now, as an adult, sour cream is a great condiment. Likewise, mayo. Scared of it as a child. Now, one of my favorite things to add. If we're getting out of the food realm of things, though, Malachi says yard work. It says it just hits different when it's your own home that you actually own. Then mowing the lawn actually feels fun. I get that, Malachi, a little bit. Maybe it's you turning into a dad. You have kids, because that feels like a dad thing to say. Grant, now this is a good one. Bedtime. I don't know what the age is where you go from, because everyone as a child, you never want to go to bed when mom and dad tell you to. And at some point, you hit an age, and I don't even think it's that old, like maybe even a teenager. And you're like, bedtime, I'm actually in. Definitely. It might not be cool to say it at some points because it's like you should pull an all-nighter, but no. Bedtime as you grow up definitely hits different. Hope says something I hated as a child, love as an adult, going to the grocery store. There's a lot of things that in some ways are much more fun as an adult because you actually are in charge of them. You get to choose the groceries you buy. It's not just following around mom or whatever. And then this is a good one too. This is one I cannot agree with. But Andy says eating fast food, eating McDonald's fast food. I disagree. There's nothing. I mean, home cooked meals are nice, but it's still fun. It's still always fun to get McDonald's. I don't care what age you are. It's been announced that Meta, the owner of Instagram, of course, is going to start testing out unskippable ads in an effort to make Instagram a better spot for advertisers and a worse spot for the people that use it. You will possibly log into your Instagram and be greeted in your feed with ads that you aren't able to skip through whatsoever. But I do have a little cheat code for you. This is something that I have figured out, a way to skip unskippable ads. And this works on any app that has any unskippable ads. And that is you just close the app and use something else that doesn't have unskippable ads, because that's really annoying. There's so many streaming services nowadays. Who can afford all of them? Wouldn't it be nice if there was one streaming service that kind of combined all of the streaming services down into one? And now that exists. It's called Showrunner. It is a entirely AI generated streaming service. So it just takes shows that already exist, all the intellectual property from throughout history, and distills it down into new things that are very similar to what you've seen everywhere else. It is the first ever entirely AI generated streaming service. I was watching the first episode of a show on there called Exit Valley, which is weird. It's a good name because it falls directly in the uncanny valley. It looks almost exactly like South Park if there was nothing funny that ever happened in South Park. It's very strange to watch that it's AI cannot joke. And here's the problem with, I guess there's a lot of problems with an AI streaming service, but especially if it's going to be entirely AI generated, that means you can't watch something as a person if you're in charge of this streaming service and go, well, AI, do this again, but better, or add some jokes, or switch up the timing because AI's timing is off. You can't do any of that, or else it wouldn't be entirely AI generated. And so instead, what you're left with is a product that is not very good at all. But to be fair, I started watching this episode. If this episode of Exit Valley was on a streaming service made by people, I wouldn't have even tried it. So I guess it's got that going for it. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.